Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. In today's video I'm going to do a quick little news update in terms of GT7 and the January update. Now recently over this last week I've been seeing an increasing amount of comments where people are saying that the GT7 January update just isn't happening anymore. So I'm here today to kind of set the record straight, as well as talk about some of the pre-confirmed things for that update, and of course talk about some other things that we may actually see alongside it. And of course I will talk about when we're more than likely actually going to see this update announced and I guess released. So first of all, let's just get it out of the way and done with. Is the January GT7 update still a thing? Absolutely. I have seen nothing since, apart from of course the obvious confirmations of the update multiple times to say that the update is completely cancelled or just not happening and being put back. It still seems that the January update for GT7 is still very much a thing. I have no idea where these comments are coming from. There just seems to be a massive influx of them all of a sudden. Now, in terms of the timescale for seeing this update, I think the first we'll ever hear of it will be this upcoming weekend, when typically these silhouettes are released by Kaz himself over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes that doesn't necessarily happen in the typical way and it might come a little later on, or who knows, even earlier. However, typically we will see it range from a Friday, Saturday or a Sunday, the weekend prior to an update actually arriving. And then of course, as always, the following Wednesday after that first bunch of silhouettes, we'll see the actual trailer confirming everything. And then of course the Thursday morning is when the update drops. Now of course, for the last two updates for GT7, it hasn't actually worked like that. That is the typical way for it to happen, to be the final Thursday of the month that we receive the update. Of course in October, it was right at the start of October to seemingly bring it in line pretty much exactly a month before the PS5 Pro launch. And then of course GT7 was supposed to get day one PS5 Pro support, and of course that didn't happen and it got delayed, so that the November update actually came slap bang in the middle of November. And of course since then we've not had a content update and everything has seemingly been coming in January 2025, and that is still very much seemingly the case. So just by applying logic, this is what I seem to think the timeline will be. So on the 24th, 25th and 26th, which is the upcoming Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I think we will see the typical release of the silhouettes as to what cars are coming with the next update. Of course then the following Wednesday, now of course that will be the 29th of January, I expect to see the trailer drop with all the cars and confirmation of any content coming with that update, and then the 30th to roll around as the actual update release date itself, of course on the final Thursday of the month. Applying logic to this, that is the only one that makes any real sense, of course, as this last weekend has gone by without any silhouettes dropping or any mention of an update coming so far. Now of course let's discuss the content that could possibly come alongside this update. In fact, one thing we do know for certain is that the Hyundai will absolutely be released alongside the January update. Now in my honest opinion, I am absolutely not a fan of EV cars in general, let alone when it comes to GT7. I find them almost useless in game, and unfortunately they just end up being a car that I drive for maybe 5 minutes and then completely forget about. Now in terms of the Hyundai, this is typically one of the more exciting real world electric cars, and there is potential there if Polyphony go ahead and actually make the EVs in game worth your time. If not, unfortunately this will be a very unpopular addition to the game. It's great to have more N branded cars from them, however I definitely don't think this is one that most people would have been asking for, and if they are, then of course they want it to be a seriously cool bit of kit that they can get incredible use out of. Unfortunately I am very skeptical of this one at present. However, there is another car that I do want to touch on. Now of course I'm going to be talking about the Gran Turismo F3500A. Of course this is an early 1990s Formula 1 car in a fantasy variant, of course created by Polyphony themselves, more than likely because of, you know, licensing limitations. And this to me is a seriously cool bit of kit. Now we did actually see it at the World Series finals in use, and I highly expect this car to actually drop alongside the Hyundai and be part of the January 2025 update. It would only make sense that we've already seen the car in action, we've already seen the model, the sound, etc., and it is pretty much fully finished, so it wouldn't make sense to actually hold off this car any longer. If it's ready, put it in the game. Now, of course, part of me does want to then turn around and say, well, what would be more better than accompanying this car than a brand new track? However, this is Polyphony, and we know that the track releases for GT7 have either been very, very lackluster or completely absent for a lot of the updates. And unfortunately, I do expect that to be the case once again in January. I am not expecting too much exciting with this update. I just feel like how Polyphony have handled GT7 at times, and they'll hype things up for a certain amount of time and then all of a sudden it'll drop, or certain cars will arrive and, you know, certain tracks you'd expect to see alongside that car just doesn't actually happen. So I genuinely don't think we'll see a track, and there's been no proper mention of any new track leaks or anything, at least at present. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, hold my breath on that one. If a track does come along, then fantastic, but there doesn't seem to be as much build up as we typically get when a track kind of pops in out of the blue. So I don't think that will be the case. And again, in terms of those two vehicles, it's only the Hyundai that is absolutely confirmed. But I feel like after the amount of time that's passed since the World Series finals, with it being almost 2 months at that point, it would only make sense for the Gran Turismo Formula car to also come alongside it. And I probably don't expect those to be the only vehicles to come alongside that update either. But hopefully it will be much better than I really do expect. But I'm just going to kind of hold my breath for now. So in terms of the January update, is it absolutely still a thing? Of course, there's been nothing to say that that is not the case. If it is delayed, then we'll probably end up hearing something. Of course, in terms of the Hyundai, that is a free reward car for anyone that took part in the World Series Finals Viewers campaign, so you'll get that for free. And in terms of that release date, I'd keep your eyes peeled for this weekend, when we will more than likely see the silhouettes for the update itself, with the following Wednesday being the trailer, and of course the final Thursday of January being the actual launch for the update. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.